Hello students, welcome back to another online English class. I am teacher Lorena and we're gonna start with the class of May the 20th. Today, as you know, on Wednesdays, we're gonna have a little bit of skills class, and today we're gonna do listening, okay? So let's start with the topic. As I was saying, we are going to start with a little bit of listening. As you know, in the listening parts, when you start listening, maybe for some of you it's pretty easy. For some of you it's not pretty easy, but I think it's a good opportunity for you to check on your skills, okay? When you do a listening, it's important for you to check all the details that you can hear in a conversation, okay? So in this part, in this lesson, I am going to show you how can you start with that and listen carefully to all the details, okay? Because that is pretty important for you when you are listening or you are doing an activity. Sometimes you can get lost and you can don't understand like perfectly, but the idea is that you get everything. You get the idea of what you are listening, okay? So we're gonna start with the first part, which is like in general, okay? This is in general. We have 6 key active learning skills in any conversation. When you want to practice listening, you have to keep this in mind, okay? First, you have to pay attention. It is pretty important for you to pay attention because if not, you are gonna miss a lot of details. So in the first part, you're gonna pay attention to the listener. Then withhold judgment. First, you have to listen, okay? Even if it's with your friend, with your family, with someone else, the first thing that you have to do is listen, pay attention. Then you have to reflect. What I just listened, all the things that are important for you, then you have to clarify your ideas, okay? Summarize the most important things that you listen, and finally share. As we always do in all the activities, we have to share your ideas at the end. So that is pretty important for you also to complete all this scheme, okay? Later, we have the types of listeners. This is more on informal way because with this you are going to be talking to a friend or with a family member, okay? For example, you can be detached, which is the people who avoid making eye contact, appears withdrawn, lacks of enthusiasm, or seems inattentive, disinterested, or bored, okay? Maybe the people that is always with the head in the clouds. So yeah. Then you have the passive listeners, may or may not make eye contact, pay attention, uses little energy or effort, and appears calm and laid back. Then you have involved, which are the people who provides more direct eye contact, has an alert posture, gives the speaker more attention, and reflects on the message to a degree. And finally, we have the active one, which is the people who has an alert posture, uses direct eye contact, gives full attention, focuses on what is said, and participates fully. As I tell you, these ones can also be used in a conversation. So later in another skills session, you're gonna be listening and you're gonna be speaking with more skills, okay? So in this part, this is basically the types of listeners for you to know them, okay? As you are going to listen something. Then we have for the listenings, okay? When a teacher gives you an assignment to do, for example, listen to the conversation and circle true or false. You have to complete it, but you have to like know what are they asking, okay? For example, you have to listen carefully to all the instructions and to listen to all the sentences to know that you are doing it well. So something that I always tell you in my classes is to read before you listen, predict the answer, okay? So for example, if you have a true or false part, first you have to read all the options, all the sentences, okay? For you to predict. For example, if there is a missing gap, you can also predict information according to the context of the sentences. For example, if you say, my mother and I spaced a car last year, okay? So in that part, I have to assume what is the answer, okay? So for example, if I say the question, my mother and I a car last year, okay? So that is the sentence, okay? You can predict the answer. My mother and I bought, my mother and I got, my mother and I sell, okay? There are multiple ways that you can assume or predict the answer. That is good because, for example, if in the listening you listen that part and you listen that they say sold, okay, it was sold because I assumed that that was the answer. So that is a good exercise. Then read as you listen. Focus on the question. You have to read as you listen the conversation. Okay, that is also good for you. Don't leave the question at the end. So ask questions if you have them. Practice your shorthand. Check your spelling. Don't write the answers too quickly. Don't leave any blank answers. And listen for repeated information, okay? For example, I can always give you like extra time for you to answer because sometimes you maybe miss that part or you didn't hear that part. So I always play the listening twice. So you have to check that part. You have to check that the listening matches to the part of the conversation, okay? So that is what you have to do. So if you're ready, we're gonna practice. Okay, here we have one exercise taken from your book, which is a listening, okay? Almost all the time, they are going to give you like some question before you listen and then another question. So you can listen twice to the listening activity. So in this case, as you can see in letter A, you have the first part. It says A, listen, who is Darinda Markham? And letter B, listen again and underline the correct answer. You have the competition is, as I tell you, you have to read first the questions, okay? The statements. So in here, the competition is free, cheap, or expensive. Number 2, some of the winners are hungry, tired, terrified. Darinda thinks they will, don't, won't get along. What is get along? When you like share with a person and you like, yeah, when they are good to each other and they like being friends or something, Then the award ceremony is today, tomorrow, next month. Okay, so we're gonna listen and we're gonna answer from here. Who is Dorinda Markham? And then we're gonna answer these questions. So please listen carefully to the parts of the listening, and then we're gonna answer. Okay, so here we go.
Track 3. This is Mark McManus reporting for Ontario News. I'm with Dorinda Markham, organizer of the Youth Photo Competition, which this year is taking place in Toronto. Tell us something about the competition, Dorinda.
Youth Photo is a free global photography competition for under 18s. Our goal is for young people to take pictures of their life, of what is important to them.
And when can we meet the winners?
Not today, I'm sorry. They just arrived in Toronto, so they're all pretty tired. But I can tell you that they're a talented bunch of young people from 8 different nations.
And how do they get along?
It's hard to say because they just met each other. Of course, they all love photography, so I'm confident they will have a lot in common.
And what about their work? When do we get to see the winning photos?
The award ceremony is at 9 o'clock tomorrow night in the Toronto Conference Center. We will present the prizes to the winners, and there will be an exhibition after the ceremony. The exhibition will be open for a month.
Thank you very much, Dorinda Markham, organizer of the Youth Photo Competition.
Okay, so did you catch all the answers? I hope you do. Because we're gonna be checking all the answers, and then we're gonna be listening, and then while listen, we're gonna be answering again. So the first one, who is Dorinda Markham? And yes, let me write it here. She's the organizer of the Youth Photo Competition. Okay, so yeah, there she is. Oh my goodness. Well, she's the organizer, okay? She's the organizer. So yes, okay, she's the organizer of the Youth Photo Competition. Then listen and underline the correct answer. The competition is, okay, I am going to play again, and I am going to stop when they say the correct answer, okay? I think this listening is pretty easy, so let's check.
Track 3. This is Mark McManus reporting for Ontario News. I'm with Dorinda Markham, organizer of the Youth Photo Competition, which this year is taking place in Toronto. Tell us something about the competition, Dorinda.
Youth Photo is a free global photography competition for under 18s. Our goal is for young people to take pictures of their life, of what is important to them.
And when can we meet the winners?
Okay, so in the first one, the competition is, did they say the correct answer? Did Dorinda say it?
Youth Photo is a free global photography competition.
It's a free competition. So that's why in here, the free photography competition, okay? Excellent.
For under 18s. Our goal is for young people to take pictures of their life, of what is important to them.
And when can we meet the winners?
Not today, I'm sorry. They just arrived in Toronto, so they're all pretty tired. But
Okay, so some of the winners are tired because they just arrived, okay? So that is why they are tired, because they arrived to Toronto. Then Darina thinks they what?
But I can tell you that they're a talented bunch of young people from 8 different nations.
And how do they get along?
They are asking, how do they get along? And in the answer, we have get along. So that is why we are going to know the correct answer. Let's listen.
It's hard to say because they just met each other. Of course, they all love photography, so I'm confident they will have a lot in common.
And what?
She's saying that they don't meet each other like right now because they are new and they don't know each other. So she expects that in the future, they will get along. So that is why the answer is will, because they all are into photography, okay? Then the ceremony or the award ceremony, when it's gonna be?
What about their work? When do we get to see the winning photos?
The award ceremony is at 9 o'clock tomorrow night in the Toronto Conference Center.
Okay, so they say that it's gonna be tomorrow night. So the answer is tomorrow, okay? So yes, this listening I think was pretty easy, but this is the way you have to do all your listenings, okay? You have to check the information, not only once. You can read the questions and then you have to answer all the things about the listening, okay? So I think that's it for today. I hope to see you on the Zoom class. Please take notes of the video and take notes in the Zoom class because I'll be checking and that it's going to count for attendance on the class, okay? So see you in a couple of minutes. Have a nice day, take care, and don't forget to wash your hands, okay? See you, goodbye.